Hey everyone, Meinke here from MLive.com, joined by Justin Rogers. Lions have signed a kicker, Justin, Matt Prater, hoping third time's the charm for them. We got a chance today in the locker room to talk to Prater and get a feel for him and his situation. Obviously, it's very unique with the alcohol issues he's had in the past. He walked in, there was already a giant scrum gathering around his locker, and he walked in and it's like, man, you guys want to talk to the kicker? Big storyline, obviously, around here, though. What were your impressions of how that went down?
I thought, he confronted his issues head on. He was very honest. He talked about being in a 12-step program to address some of his addiction issues. And, every single time you take a chance on it, it's a risk. You don't know if he's going to have a slip up, and if he does, he's going to get suspended. But he met with Caldwell for an hour beforehand, and Caldwell's a guy that believes in giving guys second chances, and I feel is a pretty good judge of character. Is one thing I could say about Caldwell just from the early impressions I've had of him. So the Lions are comfortably rolling the dice here. You mentioned, I think last time we talked, kicker's kind of like one of the more isolated positions. Right. So if it fails, they can call the next guy on the list. But Prater was the best guy out there and gives them, I think, the best chance to win now.
I was impressed by Prater and how he handled himself. Obviously not an easy situation, and he walks into a foreign locker room, and there was a huge scrum around his locker. And, of course, everyone wants to talk about some significant issues that have impacted his life and suspension and getting cut. And, these are not easy days for Matt Prater. And he could have ducked, or he could have not talked to us, but no, he went out there and he faced the music, and I thought he was very open and he seemed honest in many of the self-evaluations that he gave about his place in life, and I was impressed by how he handled himself. He readily admitted I was in a 12-step program. I've been in a 12-step program, and he didn't have to say that stuff, and so he's been very open with the risks the Lions are taking with him, and he's grateful for the opportunity the Lions are giving him. And like I said in the last video, he was the best kicker for the job, and you take a chance on a guy like this, and if it doesn't work out, you cut him, and then you're looking for a kicker, and that's where you were anyway. And he's a guy with a proven leg, and I think the Lions have done the right thing here.
It's been an emotional roller coaster for him, I have to imagine. I mean, obviously getting suspended, losing his job. Now he's coming back to Detroit, where it kind of all started for him. He was here in 2006. I don't want to say he idolizes Jason Hanson, but he has a great deal of respect for Jason Hanson, a guy he mentored under originally, hasn't talked to, but frequently calls him the greatest kicker he's ever known. So now he's being kind of asked, even though it's a year and a half removed, to fill Hanson's shoes, and he's young enough, and if he can be successful, he has that shot.
Prater's introduction to Detroit was the big news of the day, but also Kelvin Johnson spoke to us and confirmed he's dealing with a high ankle sprain, which I think confounds the injury he has. If it's an ankle sprain, they vary quite a bit, and they can be mild, where it's a week or two. But high ankle sprains tend to be more significant. They tend to be more painful, more difficult to play through. We saw that last week against the Bills. Johnson caught one pass, got hit, and he left the game. And that's a concern. He mentioned it's a concern for him that defenses know about the injury and they could target it. And he was even asked if the Bills targeted it, and he's just like, who knows? He definitely didn't say no. If you look at the film, it looks like maybe that right leg was targeted after that catch. But there's some concerns with him and his health going forward, and of course his greatest concern is to be healthy for the stretch run. And how do you get to that point? Maybe resting for a week or two, and he wouldn't say that, but he definitely acknowledged that could benefit him, and I think it's certainly on the table both for the Lions and for Kelvin.
I'm not an injury expert, and I don't generally pretend to be, but I can speak from experience on this one. I have had a high ankle sprain, and it's a unique injury. Where it's located on the ankle, it's not like a traditional low ankle sprain where every step is painful. You actually don't feel the high ankle sprain in your day-to-day activities. You could walk around and not even realize your ankle sprain, and it's the physical acts of pushing off, which is maybe the most important aspect of a receiver, and getting out of breaks and changing directions, accelerating, that aggravates the ankle injury and makes it feel like you freshly rolled it. So the recovery time for me was like 6 weeks off of it. I didn't have the fancy training and access that the Lions do, but it's rest. He has to rest the ankle. It's not going to get better from a few days. I had originally thought this was a low ankle sprain and he could play through it, but as a high ankle sprain, it's in the Lions' best interest to keep him off the field for a week. In my opinion, probably two, to really let it heal up and allow him to be effective down the stretch run.
I'm with you. Listen, it's admirable. He wants to do whatever he can to help the team, and he's out there as a decoy or whatever the past couple of weeks, and that's admirable. I mean, he has an extremely high pain tolerance. Every coach he's played for has said so. And some of the stuff that he's had to play through, like last year, getting his knee drained every week and still playing through all that, and his fingers facing sideways, it's admirable. But Calvin Johnson is not Calvin Johnson. And, Caldwell likes to say, well, Calvin at 70% or whatever percent is better than most guys at 100%. Maybe that's true, but maybe it's not right now, because he has 3 catches the past couple of weeks for 19 yards. It has been irrelevant in the game plan. At some point, you need your stud back, and it's been great what Golden Tate's been able to do in his place and so forth. But I mean, this guy is Calvin Johnson. He's one of the greatest receivers in the history of the game. He's on your roster. You're paying him however many millions of dollars, and you're not paying him to have 3 catches in 2 weeks. And you need to get him healthy for the stretch run. And I think it would behoove both parties to rest a couple of weeks to get him right.
And I think you could even see a situation where maybe he plants wrong on a quick slant and immediately rolls in, goes down, and then you have an interception. I mean, you're unnecessarily risking not only Johnson's health, but your game plan by putting him in those situations. So I don't expect him to play at Minnesota. We kind of talked about this.
Yep.
I think 5% or less is the likelihood of him playing.
Yep.
Beyond that, we don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Calvin plays. I think Broyles will be back up. And the Lions, on a good injury note, did have Joik Bell and Theo Riddick both back at practice today. No Reggie Bush, but Joik and Theo are both back, and so they're getting some numbers back, which should help. For Justin Rogers, I'm Kyle Meinke. We are MLive. Keep it right here.